it's me Grace, and today we're going to be making a washcloth snowman. I looked all over YouTube for little snowman videos, and most people were using socks, which is great, but I didn't have any new white ones, and so I didn't want them to look dingy. So I had these washcloths. They were brand new. They're just kind of left over from Operation Christmas Child shoeboxes, and I decided to have a crafty day with my kids and make snowmen. So I wasn't sure at first how it was going to work out just because of the nature of the washcloth, and I kind of wanted a body and a head, but it ended up that we could really only make a head. But here are the materials that you're going to need. Alright, so after you open out your washcloth, you're going to go ahead and you're going to pour in the rice, just right in the middle. And you might want to just put some in and then kind of pull the corners up together and just kind of see how much you have, how full it is. You don't want it to be so full that the little sides, the shorter sides, aren't going to be inside the band or the string that you're using. So here I think this is as much as I can get in, and this is about 1.5 cups of rice. So I'm just going to take my little rubber band and I'm going to put it around the top just once. I don't think I would ever get it around there twice. And then you can kind of arrange your cloth if it has more pleats and gathers in it than you'd prefer. Just kind of play with it until it's like you want it, and then take your string I'm gonna double mine, and this is actually 2 strands of the candle wicking thread or yarn, and so I'm gonna have 4 strands, and that'll make it where I can get a really good knot on there. So just go ahead and tie it as tight as you can with your string, and tie a good knot in there, and you might even want to tie a double knot. Okay, and then just clip the string off really closely, and that's the beginning of the snowman. One thing I noticed right away, and that is that somehow I didn't get this little piece here, and I don't want the rice to spill out. So if you happen to do what I did and you don't gather up the whole cloth, just run a little bead of glue and fold it over so that it can't spill out. And that'll all be covered up anyhow by the hat and decorations and stuff that you use. So now you're going to take your scissors, and don't cut, of course, to the string tie that you put on there, but you're just going to cut off the excess. Next, you're going to kind of shape it and figure out which side you want to be the face. So I'm going to choose this side, and I'm just going to kind of pat it and tap it around till it looks right to me. And of course it's going to settle out a little bit because it's rice. You can get a rounder head, of course, if you're using the polyester, because it'll fill out these pleats, these gathers more. After you decide which is going to be the face, you're going to want your little carrot nose, and I've already got mine cut out just out of scrap felt that we had. And so just kind of figure out where you want the facial features to be. So I'm just going to put a spot of glue where I want the nose and go ahead and stick that on. Now, of course, you could just leave this end free, but I like to tack it down. So I'm just going to put a little spot of glue there and go ahead and tack that down. Next, of course, is the eyes, and so I'm going to take the beads and put a dot of glue. Try to be careful not to burn myself. Okay, and there are the eyes. The next thing that I want to do is add the hat. So I made this knitted hat. It's just a little knitted baby hat, and I'm going to just kind of put it on him how I want. And I think what I'm going to do with this one, since I have a little more slack to play around with, I'm going to put some stuffing in the very top. And I think that's cute. And you don't have to glue it on, you don't have to sew it on or tack it on in any way. It can just sit there. This one I glued on, and that's because the hat was a lot shorter, because I had to tie the top together, and the hat was a lot shorter, and this one's a lot longer, so I had to actually turn up a brim on this one. And so I'm just going to let it sit there, I think. I'm not going to tack it on with glue or anything else. So I'm going to add a little embellishment to my hat because I think it's kind of plain. And I had this string that I got from the Target dollar spot. And I just tied a little bow. I'm going to cut off a little bit more of the tails of it. And I'm just going to add these where I want the buttons. So, like that. Just kind of situate your things where you want them. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere them with this hot glue. Next we'll be adding the buttons, if you choose. I'm going to put a button on each of my bows. But first I want to use some gold thread that I had, and I'm going to make them look like they're sewn on. So I'm going to take a minute and just run those through the buttons. Cute. The very last thing that I'm going to do with my snowman is use a couple of fabric markers, and I'm going to just add some embellishment. So I'm going to start with the cheeks. I want to make him look like he's blushing. Or she, I guess, because she has bows on her hat. And so I'm not going to be real neat. I'm just going to lay some color down where I think the cheeks should be. And you can make these bigger or you can make them smaller, however you want to. If you don't have fabric markers, you could totally use regular blush or even a regular magic marker. Okay, I think that's good enough. And then I want to add some lines on the carrot nose. So I'm just going to use a little bit of brown for that. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Bye!